I am Dr. Gueye-Weinstein, a physician, African scholar, and author of historical texts. For over 20 years, I have studied our histories, sat with elders who carry memory in their bones, interviewed scholars across continents, and pressed deep into the archives of our people. And through it all, I have uncovered a pattern, a deliberate, centuries-long phenomenon that most only sense in the shadows of awareness, a campaign of erasure woven into our textbooks, our religions, our cultures, designed to convince the world that Africa birthed nothing, that those who were colonized or enslaved somehow deserved it, that the greatest civilizations of the world were not ours. Let me tell you a story, not the one they wanted you to hear, but the one that lives in our bones, our songs, our bloodlines. This series is about breaking the silence, about restoring what was hidden, about remembering the stories of humanity as they truly are. Because the telling of these stories will liberate all of us. When truth rises, it does not free one people, it unbinds humanity itself as more stories begin to unfold. So sit with me, listen closely, and together, let us reclaim what was stolen so we may remember who we are and reimagine the world we seek to create. This is Remembering Humanity. The Global Web, African Genius Without Borders. Africa's knowledge has never been bound by borders. Across seas and centuries, her genius traveled, adapted, and transformed the world. From courts of Europe to islands of the Caribbean, from Russia to Brazil, Africa's children carried brilliance that reshaped civilizations. Long before Columbus, African navigators charted ocean currents, winds, and stars. Evidence suggests they reached the Americas, guided by knowledge of the Atlantic's great gyres. This maritime science was hidden in oral traditions, erased in colonial histories, but the maps of memory remain. In Europe, Africans walked in courts and cities. Saint Maurice, an African Roman general, became a revered Christian saint across Germany and Switzerland, depicted as a black knight with a sword of faith. His image stood in cathedrals for centuries. In Russia, Abram Ganabal was taken from Africa as a child, enslaved and brought to the Tsar's court. But his brilliance could not be contained. He mastered military engineering, rose to nobility, and became the great-grandfather of poet Alexander Pushkin, the father of Russian literature. In Britain and France, Africans served as musicians, philosophers, and inventors. Many of their names were buried, their portraits whitened, their contributions obscured. Yet their presence seeded ideas, art, and science that shaped Europe's modern age. The diaspora carried culture that transformed the globe. Music was not entertainment, it was memory. From African drumming came the heartbeat of blues, gospel, jazz, reggae, samba, and hip-hop. Each rhythm, a thread of Africa, woven into the world's soundtrack. Metallurgy, textiles, and craftsmanship crossed borders. African weaving patterns influenced global fashion. African metalwork shaped economies through gold and iron. African culinary knowledge fed continents. The world's culture is already African. It always has been. What connects all of these stories is the web. Africa's children were scattered, but the genius never broken. Each place they landed, they planted knowledge, adapting to new soil, creating new forms. The global web of African genius reminds us Though dispersed, Africa has never been diminished. Her memory lives in Europe's cathedrals, in Brazil's music, in America's fields, in Russia's literature, in the global heartbeat of rhythm and spirit. Africa is everywhere. Her genius cannot be buried. It can only be remembered.